A heads up if you're driving through Westbrook tonight. Police there said Bridgton Road is closed after a car crash. They said in a social media post around 10 p.m. that officers are at the scene of the crash near Stagecoach Lane. Bridgton Road is expected to be closed for several hours. Detours are in place. We're continuing to follow a house fire in Bridgton today that left at least one person, sent at least one person to the hospital, and Christian Harso was at the scene.
It was here at about 3:30 in Bridgton that neighbors heard an explosion and rushed outside. The scene in front of them was fiery and smoky, according to the neighbors, with the new owners having just moved in about a month ago, and construction workers were reportedly on scene working on the deck before the fire started. One neighbor told CENTER Maine he rushed out to help using his own garden hose to try and fight the blaze. He also tried helping the woman who lives here. By the time he arrived, she was in Beaver Pond behind the house. Burned on her legs, he says she was blown out of the house. Life Flight reportedly took her away, and her husband followed via car to meet her in Portland. One neighbor saw the whole thing happen.
Immediately ran out to our deck because it shook our entire house. And I looked down and I just saw my neighbor on the ground screaming, and I just ran out the house. I was already on the phone with 911.
The Maine Fire Marshal's office is also on scene. We saw them operating a drone here. It was at about 5:30 on Wednesday that we were told by firefighters that they had the scene under control. That's about 2 hours after the fire reportedly started. In Bridgton, Christian Harsa, CENTER Maine.
We've been told that one Bridgton firefighter did sustain minor injuries. We're waiting on updates from the Fire Marshal's office on the conditions that the victims and the fire's confirmed cause. A federal jury has found a man from Eddington guilty of threatening former Vice President Kamala Harris. Court records say Thaddeus Wind also targeted Maine law enforcement and Tesla CEO Elon Musk in a series of social media posts. The FBI ended up finding swords at Wind's home during a search last year. Wind faces up to 5 years in prison for every charge. A sentencing date has not yet been determined. After a recent unscheduled visit to the Scarborough ICE facility by a U.S. senator, we're learning more about how that facility operates. This comes as questions continue to follow last week's fatal ICE shooting in Biddeford. CENTER Maine's Alex Haskell has been looking into ICE's operation in Scarborough and brings us this report.
United States Senator Ed Markey.
This is video posted to X by the Massachusetts Democrat showing the moment before he entered the Scarborough ICE facility.
Checking back in.
During his visit, Markey says ICE told him the agent who shot and killed Johan Guerrero in Biddeford last week worked here.
They also confirmed that they have no body cameras and they do no training at this facility.
The lack of body cameras is something Maine Congresswoman Shelley Pingree says she has specifically raised with DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin since Guerrero's death. Pingree says Mullin told her at least some ICE agents will be wearing body cameras within 45 days.
It's outrageous that they're working in our state without body cameras and that we don't have sufficient documentation of what goes on in something like the horrific shooting in Biddeford.
We will continue to pursue these issues.
Pingree toured the Scarborough ICE facility last December after concerns that immigrants were not being allowed to bring in legal representation.
I just recently checked and we have not been getting complaints.
Pingree says her office stays in regular contact with staff at the facility. She says it's primarily used for immigration check-ins, but it also has holding cells where people can be kept for short periods of time.
We would like to see them just shut it down. We don't need it. I mean, I'm one of the people who thinks that ICE as an agency should be abolished because of the way they've been operating.
And it's not just what happens inside the facility that more people are paying attention to.
We come here and record when they're coming, when they're going.
This man, who does not want us to use his name, is a member of the action group Indivisible Team Southern Maine. He and others often gather outside the facility, documenting agents and their movements.
So that when it comes time to pay up, we'll have information we can lend to legal people. In addition to just, we want people to know what's in their backyard.
In Scarborough, Alex Haskell, CENTER Maine.
We reached out to ICE with questions about the Scarborough facility, but have not yet received a response.